Morning, everybody. Welcome back to Scrapyard Rescue. Welcome back to the show that never ends, right? You guys feel that way sometimes? That there's just never any end to these cars. Today, what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is I bought a fan shroud and electric fan I'm going to put on this car. I've had some trouble with it overheating. What I ended up doing is I put like 135 degree thermostat in it, and in weather like today and stuff like this, it's fine. You know, it doesn't get hot or anything. But this summer, when it gets 80, 90 degrees, it's going to have a problem. Last year I started seeing problems with it, especially when I come up. I live about a mile down this little two-rut dirt road before I get out onto the blacktop, and it's probably even more than a mile. And it's a 10-mile-an-hour road at best. So if I take the car out and run it up and down the highway for a while, and then come back and come down that road, if it's temperatures up in the 70s, this thing will jump up to like 180, 190 degrees just in this mile. So that was supposed to be the correct radiator for this car. Well, it's not. There's no way in hell that this thing could keep up anywhere. The one I have in the other car, Fairlane number 1, it seems to be a lot better radiator. It's bigger. They said this was a 3-row radiator, but it's not. That was just bullshit. So I'm going to hook the fan shroud up with a fan. I'll hook all that up and see if that's going to help. I won't be able to do much with the weather, like I said, in the 60s. I'll have to wait here. It's supposed to be in the 70s next week, so that might be a good test. The other thing I'm going to try to do today is this here is the brake master cylinder I put on this car when I first started building it. What I do when I start working on a car, the first thing I do is I jack them up, pull the wheels off, and I replace the brakes 100%. I don't mess around with them. I don't screw around with anything. I don't try to save any parts. I don't do anything. I rip all of the stuff off and buy all new parts for it, and have these two cars, they're drum brakes. I had the drums turned, all that stuff. That's the first thing I do. So this master cylinder is probably about 2 years old. I've driven this car about maybe at the very most, I don't think I even have 100 miles on it yet. I just started taking it out onto the highway here like last week or so, bombing it up and down the highway. I got a makeshift muffler and stuff put on it, so it wasn't just blasting out of a straight pipe. And so I had an appointment the other day. When was I supposed to bring it in? Wednesday. I was supposed to bring it in to the muffler shop. They were going to go ahead and finish the exhaust, put a tailpipe and all that stuff on there for me. So I got the car already on Tuesday, monkeying around with it, and the brakes needed to be bled. I knew that, so I got out here, got my wife out so we could, bleed the brakes. Can't get the brakes to work now. They won't hold pressure. I pump it up. I can do it the correct way. Start in the back, do the tube back. Come up here to this front tire, bleed that, and it seems like when I get to these 3, it's okay. and then I go over there and try to bleed the driver's side front, and the whole system just goes out again, just gone. Nothing's leaking because the reservoir is still full. You know, there's nothing coming out. You know, when I bled the brakes, there was, you know, that one back tire over there, when I first did it, got a couple squirts of air come through. But then what I was noticing is when the car would just be sitting here parked like this, I'd come outside and look, the brake lights would be on. I'm like, what the hell? So I'd go over here and kind of push on the brake pedal a couple times, go back and check, and they'd be off. And then a little while later, I'd be doing something, look at the car, brake lights are on again. It's like, what? It's just sitting here. How did they, can't figure it out. So finally I got to the point where they wouldn't, the brake lights just stay on all the time, even with the cars off. So I went to town, spent 20-some bucks for a brake light switch, came back, replaced the brake light switch, and the brake lights still come on. So it wasn't the brake light switch. So what happened, what I'm thinking is you need to have the pressure on the master cylinder. The brake system needs to be pressurized to keep the brake lights off. That's what turns them off. And when you push down on the brake pedal, you know, the little plunger thing on it moves forward, and that's what turns them on. So it's not holding pressure on the master cylinder. So I checked around, of course, and nobody has one. So then it's I got to order it off of Amazon, which is where this piece of shit here came from. And it's like I said at the beginning, does it ever end? Does the crap just, you know, what are you supposed to do? It's just, nobody's got a kit for this. Nobody's got it. I got to order it. So I'm going to take this apart today. I'm going to clean it all out. I can see some rust down in there. Hopefully I can get it so it's working. I'm going to try one more time before I break down and buy another one of these things. But, you know, so that'll be next. I want to do something that looks like it's going to work out instead of something that I'm going to start swearing and throwing stuff and screaming and yelling at, which I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen with the brakes. I was going to paint my fender off of Fairlane #1 that I finally got repaired. I had a guy all weld it all up for me, the cracks in it, so that's all nice and stuff. So I went into town today to pick up the fan shroud, and I was going to stop at the Home Depot and get some paint. And I went into Home Depot, wandered around, looked at some lumber and things like that, and got in the car and drove home. Yeah, I forgot to paint, so that's out. And I can't do it today anyway because the wind's blowing 10 miles an hour already. But, so let me get started on this. I'm going to get the fan off. I just double checked that before I took it out of the package. It looks like it's going to fit just perfect. They said it would fit perfect, and it looks like it's going to. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of monkey around with that for a little bit, and then we'll start going along, you know, after I get the fan out of the way. All right, guys, I got the fan and stuff off, so let's see what we got here. All right, so looks pretty good. And I measured it. It does fit. I I guess it goes in like that. Let's just see if it actually fits now that the fan's out of the way. Holy shit, I'm kind of impressed. It actually fits. It fits where it's supposed to. The freaking bolt holes even line up with the radiator. But what I got to do now, and I'm pretty much going to guarantee you, I don't have any, 3/4 inch 5/16 fine thread bolts to screw the pulley back on. So let me go dig around and look and verify that I don't have any, and then maybe we'll take I don't know, an hour's drive back to the closest hardware store that's 25 miles away and get some bolts. Well, wait. There's a package here. Oh, yeah, no bleeding. What's in the package? Bunch of wiring. That's the harness. Pretty good wire harness here. Whole bunch of doodads. Crap. No bolts. Okay, I'm just gonna pause it here for a bit while I go look and see if there's any chance I got any bolts. Well, guys, I lucked out. I actually found 3 of the right thread and the right size. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the pulley on with the 3, and so that way I don't have to spend an hour and a half, and another 20 bucks in gas driving, to get another bolt. I can pull, it'll work just fine with 3 for now. I had 3 standard size and 1 metric. Yeah, I had an electric fan on that other car with that radiator, and it didn't seem to work at all. But I didn't have the shroud. I just had the fan, and I couldn't get it to stay cool. So I don't know. Maybe if I got a shroud for it, it might work better. I don't know. It works fine with the mechanical fan and stuff, so I'll probably just leave it. I can drive that car all the time, and it does get hot coming up the road, but it doesn't get overheated or anything. So now I just got to find some bolts to bolt the shroud to it. Come on. on here. Well, that was short-lived. The bolts are too long, so they're they're sticking out past the water pump thing, and they're grinding on something. So I got two choices. I can go get bolts, or I can try to cut all these off, save the time. Well, it wouldn't save any time because it would take me, you know, that long to cut the bolts off, get them to work, grind them down. Or just go get them. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they should have done that. What the hell? They're not hitting on anything. Why did that tighten up like that? They should be barely sticking out. I don't get it. I don't know what the hell that was all about the first time. Well, it spins just fine now. What the? Yeah, it works just fine. Huh. I guess I'll go ahead and tighten up the fan belt again right away too before I... What's this one? That's it. All right. Good to go. Oh. Now I gotta go in and scout around, see if I can find 4 more bolts to fasten the shroud up to the thing. So I'll be right back. Okay, guys. Sometimes, you know, shit happens. I found another set of bolts for this. Okay, I'm going to have to move my overflow tube on the radiator enough to get the bolts behind it first. All right. Wow. It's going to be much easier if I flip the bolts around the other way. I kind of don't want to do that because it looks kind of hokey, but I'll spend half the day screwing around with them if I don't. So I'm just going to put them on this way. I can always change them later. The washers that are going on the head aren't working good. They're too big. I should have some lock washers, but I don't have any small enough. Whoa. Boy, that one's not going to be fun getting that on there. Let's see about this one. Damn it. Okay, I got two of them on. I'll screw around with them other ones later, get those put on. I just want to see if the freaking thing works. All right. Well, let me go look in the box again. Well, fellas, this is what you get when you buy Chinese complete fucking bullshit. It's just always the same thing. Never gets any different, never any better. There's absolutely no wiring instructions whatsoever in this thing. None. there's some kind of a relay, a fuse. Apparently the fuse probably goes in here. Yeah, and that doesn't open. So let me see if this is even going to work. I knew things were going too good. I just knew it. The plug that goes into the block, this thing is like 5 times too big. Which means I'm going to have to screw around and get a whole bunch of different fittings and stuff, and you know, more of that. Got a 30 amp circuit here that doesn't tell me shit where that goes. I got a black wire, a blue wire, a red wire, a white wire. How would you even set it to wherever the fan's supposed to come on? You know. How does it know what it's supposed to do? I got a bunch of those brass fittings. Seems to me on one of these cars I had to do something. I think it was fairly number 1. I had to put the water temperature gauge in. I had to do something. This one, I think it's screwed right in the block. I know there's not another water spot anywhere. Let me go in and see what kind of fittings I got. Brass fittings, to see if I can figure out something to reduce it down into. You know, that. So we'll get back with you. Okay, it says that the black, I watched the video, and it says that the black wire goes to the coolant, into the manifold. That's where it says the black's supposed to go. Because the switch runs off of the ground. Then we got red. That just goes to the battery. So that's no big deal. I guess I'll put that up. Maybe I could bring that around here. Probably work. Get it tucked up out of the way. Like that. Yeah, that'll run right into there. Everything, the wind is just, white wire's got to go all the way to the ignition. So I could put that on. I should be able to hook that up to the solenoid, I would think, right? Keyed ignition. So you turn the key on. So there, I could run those two over here. Power to the battery, white to the ignition. Well, this is where it gets a little confusing. The ground wire to the little video I watched, the ground wire said to hook it to the switch on the manifold, the temperature, switch. But there's a switch on the fan that has blue and black. And it also has this, which nobody has explained to me yet. It's a relay. It's got auxiliary and battery. So, if I hook this up, this is a 30 amp, I guess it's a circuit breaker. So, hook it to the battery. Where should I put this thing? I don't really want to put it there, because if I have to take the battery out, it's going to be in the way. Where the hell can I put it? Maybe right here? I guess I could put it down there. That'd be out of the way. I drill a couple more holes, get some more screws. I gotta go find a couple more screws. Okay. I'm still kind of confused on this one part. All right, I got the red one figured out, but okay, let me try something. I gotta get my meter out, see if I got power. What's going on here? There we go. Okay, glue goes to the fan. Down there. All right. Let's see if these, I gotta go get my tool. All right, let me see if we can ever get anything done here today now. All right. There. There. That's what I thought. These fucking things don't fit anything. Good Lord. We're still getting there, boys. Yep. I didn't know I was going to have to clean the whole tool room out to hook a fan up, but apparently you do. I was going to try to work on that brake cylinder today too, but apparently that might not pan out. All right, let's see what we can do here. Jesus Christ. Ah. All right, got the blue wire on. Go ahead and see if we can get the black wire on. We're going to have to, I think, do some what should I use there? I guess I'll use a blue one again, huh? All right. So those two wires are hooked up. I got to auxiliary. What do I need auxiliary for? What does white goes to ignition, keyed ignition. So I got the key on. Okay, the red wire, it shows going to the battery. Okay, I ain't got any things for that. Dang it. Don't got enough of those. What the hell? All right, I gotta go. It's awful thin wire. All right, I'm going to jump this wire and the other red wire to the fuse. Oh, here I got one. Cool. I don't think this is going to fit though. It does fit. All right. So we got the red wire hooked up. Hopefully. So this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. All right, the red wire's hooked up. The black wire's hooked up to the plug. So I need to apparently run the black wire over to the sensor coming up out of the block. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to have to clip both of these wires off, the black ones, and then splice them together. Well, how can I do that? I got to go from there. Oh, I know what I could do. Oh, no, that you can't ground to aluminum, can you? Let's see, red ground. Huh, that video I watched just kind of told me to run the black wire I can run the black wire to the battery ground, can I? Why can't I do that? That'll work. And then I got a lot of shit here. I just dropped something. I hope it wasn't something I needed because I didn't see what it was. Oh, that piece of plastic shit that I don't need. Alright. So if I hook, well, I still don't have one though. Oh, I could clip. Well, I can't clip that off. Oh yeah, well no. I can ground this to here. Maybe. No. Oh. Can I ground it to here? I think I'm gonna, what is this? Where does this go? Oh, that's gonna go to the battery hot wire. And I'm going to clip that black wire off. Hook one terminal to the battery cable and the other one, it's got to go. All right. It's got to go to the switch. Where's my wire cutter? I had it out here. Yeah, this should go up to there. Yep. This one I will run to the battery. All right, hang on for a second. I think just one more wire, I think. Well, I think that's every... Alright guys, I don't know for sure where the last part of that video went. I realized the camera had shut off, the battery was dead. So I've got everything hooked up. The only thing I don't have hooked up is on that 30 amp fuse, the thing for the auxiliary. I don't know where the hell that's supposed to go. There's nothing in the instructions that says where it goes. I'm gonna... Now, according to the video I watched, unless I put in a 165-degree thermostat, which I don't have in here, I might have one somewhere, but I'm not going to do that right now because I don't feel like draining out the radiator and pulling all that shit off, draining water out. I'm going to put the fuse in this system here, and turn on the key and see what the hell happens. Now, according to what the fellow says that I watched the video, he said if you don't do that, what it'll do is it'll just kick the fan on right away. So if I do that, if I go turn the key on, the fan starts to go, well, I know I'll probably got it all wired right then. So that go in there. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what that... If I need to hook the auxiliary up on that, I don't know where to hook that to. We got start and ignition. I wonder if I hooked it to that terminal on the solenoid, if that would work. Let me go see what happens. what that damn auxiliary thing is supposed to do. Well, I should probably hook the white wire up, huh? That might work. Alright, I'm going to hook a terminal on that white wire and then kind of see what the hell happens. Dang it. up. Takes a while for this car to warm up. I got to readjust the choke. It doesn't come off very quick. So I don't know for sure if I got it hooked up right or not. You know, it's nice of these cup Chinese. I guess they don't know how to read or write English or anything, so, you know, basically they just throw the shit in a box and like, there you go, have at it. It says product support on there, so I tried to go to product support. Well, nothing, there was no product support. I didn't find anything on it. So, I don't know. We'll just let the engine warm up to temperature and see if the fan kicks on. It's supposed to be on, but... Temperature gauge in the car just now, and it just sitting, you know, pegged on nothing, but now all of a sudden the fan just went on. Oh, okay, the thermostat must have popped open because now the temperature gauge is way up. Something's not right. The temperature gauge has jumped up to 190, but the radiator is cold as ice. The thermostat hasn't opened yet, and the fan is spinning. If I'm going to have to use that damn piece that came with it, the sensor, because I don't, apparently those are calibrated to, you know, for something, like the guy was hooking up one of these systems and he said they're set at like 160, 165, and I need to use that thermostat. Otherwise, it's not going to read right, but why isn't the one, why did it go way up already? more, then I won't know what the reading is. I won't have an accurate reading, which I don't want that. What good is that? If you don't know what's happening, you know, you're going to overheat your engine. Through the fan. I just don't know if I've got it hooked up right. I don't think it's right, but then again, I didn't change the thermostat, so maybe that's causing a problem. I probably got a thermostat. I'd have to go in and start looking around, see if I can find something. I might have one. Well, I probably do. I just don't know where it's at right now. I'm just gonna let this run for until at least I know the engine's hot, because it's still, the upper hose is still cold, so. Disconnect that white wire and just see if the fan shuts off or what happened. gauge dropped back down to 0 and the fan is turned off. It's working because now the fan went back on and the temperature gauge jumped back up, but it went back up and it's pegging it, it's at 190. So I'm not sure. I think I need to put in I think I need to change that sending unit that goes into the manifold. That's those are apparently are calibrated to your fan and stuff. So it does turn off and it does turn on, but the gauge only goes up to 190, and then when the fan and stuff turns off, it just drops back down to 0. Then it'll pop back up. And I'm assuming that's when the thermostat is opening and closing. Okay, the fan is running. Everything's shut off, but fans usually do that. They'll run, you know, and cool the system down before they kick off. I know on new cars, everything, that's what they do. So I'm just going to leave it sit for a while, turn the camera off, go fiddle around with this brake cylinder. See if I can get it to work so I can put brakes on this thing. I'll just let this sit here and just see what happens. I'll get back with you here in a bit, let you know what's going on. Morning, everybody. Been a few days since I started this little video and this project on the car, and you know, as you bet it didn't turn out well. You know, I messed with this thing for a couple days. On those electric fan things that you buy off of Amazon, you know, the fan, the shroud, all that stuff, it all fit just perfect on the radiator. I was really happy about it. I thought, wow, I finally got something that actually fits. And so, of course, they don't have any wiring instructions in it. You know, nothing. They just send you bag with some crap in it, and that's what you get, nothing. So I went online, of course, Googled it to see exactly how to wire it up, and there's about 37 million ways to wire a cooling fan on Google. So it took me, you know, I look at one and it would look like real simple, which is what I had. So I would wire it up like that. Well, it didn't work. So then I'd go find something else and I'd wire it up like that. It didn't work. Then I'd go find something else, wire it up like that. It didn't work. Finally, I found one and I tried that one. And apparently it was the correct way to wire what I had, because it apparently it works now. Yesterday when I got it finally figured out, I fired up the car, you know, got it running. The fan didn't turn on. It was just sat there. I just left the car sit, and like 15 minutes later, I came back over to check it, and the fan was on. So I was thinking, okay, fine, it finally works. Well, I'm going to test it again here in a minute, and but I want to get you in and show you how I wired it, because boy, I tell you, there's everybody that's got a YouTube channel or anything on there, they all got a different way to do it. So it really got to me after a while. So let me get you over here and I'll kind of show you what I did. And, you know, hopefully maybe that'll help you out if you use one of these Chinese-made Amazon, you know, cheapy fan things. All right, I'm not real sure how good you're going to be able to see this down here. You're not going to be able to, you know, to see my handsome face, but, you know, that's all right. Okay, so what I did on this is, obviously this is the box here for it. It's a 4-pin, you know, box, circuit box, whatever you call that. It has a red, blue, black, and white wires on it. So how I finally got this to work was, I took the white wire, which is the ignition power with key on. So I ran the white wire up and I put it onto my starter solenoid on the ignition circuit side, which powers up when you turn the key on. So that was good. Okay, obviously the red wire is power, and it's got a separate fuse in it, a 30 amp fuse here in it. So I ran the red wire over, and down here, let me see if I can point you down there a little bit. There is a circuit breaker down here that came with this kit. So what I did there was I ran a hot wire to the positive side of the circuit breaker, and then ran the other side up to, well, it goes into the red wire. The red wire goes to the one side of the circuit breaker, and then the hot wire goes up to the battery. And I put an extra fuse link in here because that's the only heavy-duty wire I had to, you know, I didn't want to put a skinny, crappy wire on the battery and have it just melt. So that took care of that. Then the blue wire on the fan itself, there's a blue and a black wire down here. Blue wire just hooks into the blue wire on the box here, no problem. Now the black wire is the one I was having some problems with. It shows it like it's a ground. So the black wire coming out of the box goes to your temperature sensor. Which that's a whole different story there too. So, and then the other wire that comes out of the fan down here, the plug in the fan goes to your ground. Now you can see these wires are all pretty long and floppy. Now that I know it works, I'm gonna fix everything and shorten up the wires and route them good and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, yesterday this seemed to work. Now, this sensor that comes with it, it would probably, I'm not sure if they'd call it like 3/8, you know, fitting. I'm not sure, but it won't fit into the stock 289 manifold. It's way too big. The one that goes into the manifold is what they call a 1/8 NPT. So I built a contraption out of all these pieces of adapters and stuff, and all out of stainless steel parts I went and bought, so I could thread it into there. And I could not get the thing to work. I don't know why they wouldn't work, because water could go, and under pressure could fill that little tube I made. And so after screwing around with that for a couple of times, then I'm standing here looking at this thing like a dumbass, and I see on my thermostat housing, they have these new ones you buy now, they have a plug in the top of them. And so I'm looking at that going like, huh. So I pull the plug out, and it's the thing that you get with it, the temp sensor screws right in there. So I did that, put that in there. Then I put my original one back in where it was, because I want the temperature gauge I have, I want to be able to see the temperature. I'm just not going to drive down the road blind and wondering if the fan's working or not, and have my engine overheat and burn up. So when I put that back together and hooked it back up the way it was, now that gauge doesn't work. That sensor, I'm not getting, it doesn't read anything, which shouldn't have anything to do with this, because it's just completely different. It should be right back to where it was before. So I don't know if I wrecked that thing somehow or what I did, but I ordered another one this morning from Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow, and I'm just going to replace that little sensor, and hopefully that puts my the gauge inside the car back working, so I don't have, I'm not just driving down the road blind. But that seemed to make it work. So like I said, I'm going to start the car up now, just let it run until it gets hot, and just see if the fan goes on, and then we'll get back and see what happens. Okay, with that, the other thing I talked about in the beginning of the video, I was going to work on my brakes again, because for apparently some reason the brakes decided now, the day I was going to take it in and have the exhaust system put on, the brakes don't work. Can't figure that out. Apparently the master cylinder just decided to die, and why, I have no idea. I took it apart the other day. I cleaned it out, looked at everything. There's only 2 little parts inside there, a couple plungers. They seem perfectly fine to me. I cleaned everything back up, put them back together, put the thing back on the car. Could not get it to pump up. I bled the brakes again, put another bottle of fluid through everything, and it will not hold any pressure. It starts to seem like it's going to work, and then when you go like to the next wheel to bleed it, it's just gone again. There's nothing. So I got to order a new, I can't buy one in town. Nobody's got one. So I got to order one of them. Put on a brand new master cylinder to replace the brand new master cylinder that I already put on it, and hopefully then I'll have brakes, and then I can go back in and get my exhaust finished up on it, and then this car better be done. Everything else is done on it. It needs a headliner. I'm not putting a headliner in it. If I sell this car, somebody else can put the headliner in. I'm not doing it. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll get back here, in a few, once I see if it's going to overheat, or if the fan's going to work, or if everything's going to be good. So I'm going to crank her up and then just go do something else for a while I'm waiting for it to warm up. All right. I was sitting here letting it warm up. I started, fixing up the wires, putting some zip ties on, neatening everything out up there. And I would check to see, what the fan was doing. And I noticed when I went to do the blue and black wire off the fan, I see laying down there in the car It just fell off. It just came out of the fan, the harness. It's just, there's nothing down there for it to hit. You know, there's no fan. It couldn't hit anything. It's not hot. It didn't even get up to heat. The top hose not even warm yet. This thing just, it just burned out of the fan motor. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm done with this stuff. You know, being honest with you here, guys, I can't deal with this stuff anymore. I'm getting too old. I'm losing my interest in it. It doesn't you know, do me any good anymore to do this kind of stuff. All I do is just get pissed off, and it ruins my whole day, and you know, I can't sleep at night, and I've kind of decided I think I'm just done. I'm going to put the mechanical fan back on this car, get the brakes working, get the exhaust on it, and I don't know what I'll do with them. You know, maybe I'll just sell them. I don't need the headaches anymore. I don't know what the rest of you guys are doing. You know, let me know. Put some comments down there. Is this the same shit that happens to everybody? What the hell is going on here? You can't buy anything from anybody that works anymore. You just cannot do it. It's all junk. And why spend thousands and thousands of dollars on junk? You know, why? I mean, I haven't even put 100 miles on this car, and the brakes don't work already. They're all brand new. This shit is junk. Everything is junk on it. You know, I'm done with it. I don't know. I just can't do it. I just bought an old RV here the other day. I'm going to remodel that and fix it up, and I think I'm just going to park the cars over there in the parking spot and just leave them sit. I'll go out and start them up once in a while, see what part broke off of them, and then, you know, do something with that. But, yeah, you know, yeah, please let me know. Is it just me? You know, am I the guy that gets all the bad luck, or are all you guys in on this? Is it all just garbage, crap, junk? You know, whatever it is, but I'm putting the mechanical fan back on. It worked fine that way, and that's just what I'm going to do. So, anyways, you know, if you feel like leaving comments and letting me know, if you want to subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. You know, I'm not sure how many videos I'm going to be doing anymore, or how often or what, but, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do right now. Right now I'm pissed and I'm disgusted and, you know, something. So anyways, I'm just going to let you go. You know, and always, guys, just, you know, thanks for watching.